All right, so is the 401k, is it even relevant anymore? Should you put money into your 401k as everyone says you should? Well, I gotta say, I was an RIA, which is called a registered investment advisor. I'm no longer registered, but I'm still an RIA. I'm a recovering investment advisor. And I used to see people that would be in a lot of different types of plans, right? You have millions of dollars saved up in retirement plans. I still, from the 2,500 investors I've spoken with since being a registered investment advisor, I've seen this a lot. And the question really, is it relevant, right? I mean, can people really create wealth through this? Well, I would say it really depends. It can help maintain your wealth. That's one thing. If you make a lot of money as a doctor or as a business owner, you can maintain wealth. But typically, people do not become wealthy simply by investing in different Wall Street assets. The top wealthiest people in the world, you look at Elon, you look at Warren, you look at Jeff Bezos, they all made money through businesses, right? They didn't make it through just simply on the investing side. You could say Warren Buffett maybe, but he basically had a business that would be a part of other businesses. So we're gonna go over this in 3 easy steps. Let's jump in. All right, if we haven't met, my name is Bronson Hill. I'm the CEO of Bronson Equity. We do investment properties like this behind me here. We also do cash flowing deals such as oil and gas and other cash flowing businesses. And I just want to give you a quick disclaimer. I am, like I said, no longer an investment advisor, so get your own independent advice. These are just my opinions and just thoughts. So the few disadvantages I wanted to share about 401ks is that the first thing is you have limited control. Right? You're not the one who's actually calling the strings. When you're in a Wall Street asset, you've got counterparty risks. That means if either the bank or the issuer that holds the funds fails, or the business itself, it means that you, as an investor, you're the one who's going to lose money, right? So you're locked into Wall Street's performance. Wall Street, in my opinion, I have a whole chapter in my book, Fire Yourself, about this, where it says Wall Street is not on your side. Wall Street is not out. It's not actually there to serve you, right? There's this huge misalignment of interest where they can say they're getting paid one thing and get all these other back-end fees you don't even know about. So I would say, just say no to Wall Street, right? Just say no to being involved with Wall Street. You have limited control. You don't always see what's going on. So that is a disadvantage, right? And you could say the same thing about syndicated deals that, well, I don't have control. I'm not the one who's actually pulling the strings. But I just think with Wall Street, there's so many back-end things that they're doing to try to take advantage of people. It really becomes a savings account. They say the fees are 1.2%. They end up being 3.5%. I mean, it's crazy. Legally, they can say 1.2% when it's actually 3.5% in a mutual fund. It's really nuts. Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game, it talks about this, where there's things legally they don't have to disclose. So something that's really interesting. The second thing is the tax implications, right? Tax deferral. So when you put money in, a lot of times it's pre-taxed, right? So it will basically push you from paying tax now to be able to hold it so you pay tax later. Now the downside of this is that withdrawals are taxed at a higher rate when you're ready to actually take money out. There's actually some speculation that taxes could go up substantially, right? So you actually, at some point, you actually have to start taking money out. You're age 70 and a half. My dad recently crossed this a couple of years ago, and he's had to start taking money out of his 401k, right? So you actually do have to start taking funds out at some point, even when you don't necessarily want to, right? So there are tax implications of doing that. So you're basically taking money you could invest and do other things with now and putting it into this 401k type plan. Now I will specify real quick, a 401k is typically a company provided plan that you're investing in through them, right? So they'll have an agreement with Fidelity or with Charles Schwab or one of these groups, and they'll put you into their funds. So they like these range dated funds as well. Sometimes it's like, well, if you're gonna retire around 2040, then we'll put you in this type of fund. If it's 2050, it'll be in this one, but it's a series of different stuff, like a mutual fund, and there's fees that are disclosed and fees that are hidden. So that's something that is there. Now, I would say the third thing is there are better alternatives that are out there than putting money into 401k, right? So I like real estate. It offers better long-term returns. If you look at a study of the stock market, typically around 7 to 10%, depending on which figure you look at, 7 to 10% per year. Real estate typically is around 15% per year, especially commercial real estate, if you look at the same historic period, right? So you see much, much higher returns. And also, I will say passive income builds wealth faster. And you can say, well, I'm passive if I invest through a 401k. It's like, yeah, you are passive, but you're almost too passive, right? You're just allowing someone else to basically run the whole thing for you. How are you able to scrutinize that performance? How many stocks are in there? It can be very difficult to really see how things are going. So another thing I like better than it, I like cash flowing businesses. I talk about real estate, cash flowing businesses. We buy cash flowing businesses because they just cash flow so much, right? And also when you're not in a retirement account, It allows you to be able to reinvest and do other things with that money, even use it for things you need now, versus once you're in a retirement account, it can really penalize you. Now, I will give a couple caveats. A couple caveats from this that I think it could be a good idea for your 401k or to consider is if your company does a match for like the first 6%, a lot of companies will say, hey, we'll match you 100%, or you put in 3% of your salary, we'll put in another 3%. So they're basically like giving you free money, right? So if they're giving you free money, you don't have to take the money. But I would take the money, right? Because if I was doing it, I would say, yes, this could work for me and for my situation. So again, no advice, but take the money. Just kidding. And then the other thing you can do is you can self-direct your 401k. So this happened. I was at a large medical device company, and I said, hey, I don't like these investment options that are here. I'd like to put money in and self-direct my own management. This is a company of 500 to 800 people, a small company. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This was actually a different company. This was a company of many thousands. This was earlier. And I said, hey, I want to self-direct. And so I had to talk to HR, and then they kind of critiqued me, said, well, it looks like you're not invested in the right stuff anyway, whatever. But they said, okay, you can do it, but there was a 2-year waiting period, right? So I had to wait. I think I was there at the company for 4 years. So anything that was the last couple years, I could invest however I wanted. I just rolled it over to a self-directed IRA. Then I could put it into different types of investments. I could put it into real estate. There are some potential sneaky taxes in there if you have the wrong type of fund that called UBIT, unrelated business income tax, that if you just have a standard self-directed IRA, you need something like a solo 401k or QRP to help you avoid some of those hidden taxes in there if you use leverage to buy an investment. So anyway, there's different options out there. And then, of course, when you leave a company, you can just roll it over and self-direct it, which a lot of people have. Old companies they worked for, that they can simply roll it over and be able to self-direct into private deals. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful for you. I want to share this great quote for you. It says, the biggest risk of all is not taking one. Melody Hobson. And please check out this video below here. And I know you'll enjoy what's shared basically about retirement accounts. So check it out right here. And thanks for taking the time. We'll look forward to catching you on the next video. If you haven't joined our investment club, check out the link down below. Thanks again.